blown away by it. I was like, this is awesome. Like, we've never had this as a program. So I really wanted him to share because I think he could bring more value to this, and then I can add any random thoughts if I have any additional ones. But Mr. Rose, lead the way.
Woo. Okay, so there's many documents that I just learned and picked up along the way. Everything that not the majority of it all, just like everything else in the business, is kind of stuff we've gotten from other places, other sources, right? So there's some things like putting together like a folder, like all those documents were in a flash drive that someone gave me one time when I was running a branch. I just kind of did it and did more of it, I suppose. But where does this high school thing come from? Okay, so I guess we started it when we were in our original office as a branch manager back in Deer Park many years ago, but especially lately it's been something that we do a lot more because, as you guys may or may not know, so we run the College Station office, and that's my office up the road, and we're Texas A&M, so we have a huge student population, right? That's there for 8 months of the year, and those 8 months don't overlap necessarily with those of the summer campaign, right? So in summer for us, there's a very big focus. It's a switch of focus, right? Because throughout the entire year, it's super simple. We show up on campus, all the kids are there, we're good to go, and we have a huge population of students right there, you know, in a few square blocks. Right in the town. Well, the thing though is with our territory up in College Station is that we have it's a landmass wise outside of the actual town, about a 50-mile radius around there. So within that 50-mile radius, there's actually 43 high schools in that area, right? So I have a lot of high schools that have to get covered over a course of a big area. Now here's the thing though with those high schools. While we may hear be like, oh wow, 40 plus high schools, that's crazy, right? Well, I'll put it this way. When I was in freaking East Houston over there, where some of the largest high schools in the state of Texas are, if you guys didn't know, 3 of the top 10 largest high schools in the state of Texas are all located over in the East Houston territory. Fun fact. So I went from having those like super 5A, 6A high schools over there to, of those 40 high schools out in my territory in College Station, 30 of them are 3A and below. Right, so we have lots of 1, 2, 3A schools, and there's little schools out there that are graduating 50, 40, 30, like 20 people, some of these little high schools, right? Now here's the thing, I came from one of those high schools. I came from the territory where I grew up and where I went to school, a little town called Iola, Texas. Iola is actually in the College Station territory. It's a 1A school. I graduated with 31 people. Now, some of you guys may have come from a small school like this, but I'll tell you the thing about this school and this experience is that it's just like anything else, right? So we have even in the smaller high schools, and in those high schools we were going to have, you know, the same groups, you know, that are in larger high schools in terms of the you know, athletic people, band kids, you know, the ag people doing whatever, the stoners, right? They're all still there in high school, except it's kind of just like the group is like 1 or 2 people, right? It's like, so like in Iowa, it's like, oh yeah, like those 2 are the stoners, right? Like that's the whole stoner group, right? And that's the way it is. And so with that though, why do I say this? I say this because I know then that those little communities, there's that type of kid that we want in there, right? But there's only a handful of them. There may only be, you know, 5 of those seniors, 6 of those seniors out there that are the type of kid that if we get them, they're going to be able to pop and sell to that entire community. And that's the power of it. Those communities are little, but at the same time too, they found me somehow, and the entire community of Iola, which is, you know, maybe less than 3,000 people, we all have Cutco, right? Everyone, like every street, like all the little, like the neighborhoods, like they all have Cutco's because I went around and saw them, and you know, I sold many knives in that small territory. So in my territory, then we have those little pockets, and so that's one of the reasons that we developed the high school program we did, because it's really important because I have to go out there and get them, because just statistically speaking, the chances of one of my mailers hitting that right kid and that 1 or 2, 3 right kids from that school, that territory, or that are actually saying, hey, I'm going to call in and go do this, right? That's small, It's a small chance. So I have to kind of figure out a way, like, how am I going to actually get in front of those people? The thing then with this is that the exact same thing applies when we're at the bigger schools and the larger schools in lots of y'all's territories. We just have that, you know, the numbers just get upped a little bit, and I think that's fun. So when it comes to the high schools and high school programming, I think people ask me, okay, well, what do I need to do? When do I need to do it? How do I need to do it? So I kind of cover, I guess, the why would you want to, because that's where your good kids are. Because for lots of us, these mailers are going to be hitting, and the high school, or excuse me, the college campuses, we're going to have them for. So, when some of you guys get out there, you're going to maybe have a couple days on campus, you know, for some of the DMs that are already set up, and we'll have a few weeks that we can go on campus, really. But for lots of you guys, man, you have like a week, two-ish maybe of college campus, and then what? Then you're like, okay, I have to try and do something until my mailers get here. Better put a lot of active ad, right? And you should still do that. But by supplementing the high school campuses, after your colleges leave, you still have 3 weeks where you can go and do campus table days on a high school campus and pull in. It depends on the campus, man. You can pull in applications every single day and be generating touches because you're on campus. Originally, my first branch office, you're gonna go out, open up, go have a training class that first week. Our first training class was like 3 people, but all of them were people we found on campus, right? If we wouldn't have went on campus and did events, there wouldn't have been a training class. Just fact, right? So that's one way that you're going to be able to generate your classes quickly and get the right kids in there quickly, because you're actually and really kick your summer off before the mailers even get there, and that's by leveraging the high schools, I suppose. Now, when should you do them? Well, I guess as soon as where's the calendar? So, well, you know, not that first. I'll do this first. So some metrics, I suppose. We always talk about metrics in the business. Generally, what I've found, just a ballpark-ish number, is that for every campus event that I do, I'm going to average launching about 1 recruit from that campus event. Some campus events may get me more, right? Some may get me less. I'm dealing with smaller schools also. So, but I can usually figure if I show up, I'm going to get at least a kid who's going to get launched from that event for going to that lunch table, setting up and putting up a table and doing a campus event on their campus. So for me then, that's one place that I add extra recruits when I'm doing my planning. It's like, okay, so the PRs, that's a big thing. I also do high school campus as a bigger control factor I have, because I know if I can get in 30 events, if I get in 30 high school events, cool. That's going to put me 30 more campus recruits up, high school campus recruits. And those campus recruits also have the high schoolers. They are also the easiest to get your good lists from your good kids right away, so you can really kick off PRs quickly as well. So that's a big thing that's going to do for you. So I'll usually figure if I get 1 campus event done, I'm going to get 1 kid launched-ish. Right now, of course, bigger schools. I remember I showed up at North Shore High School one time out kind of in Channelview. That place is huge if you guys don't know. That day, I took 86 applications. I had to like go to the teacher's lounge and make more apps, right? Because the kids were just like swarming the table, filling them up, right? Like we had a stack, like 86 at a lunch table. I was in their lunch period for less than 2 hours, right? Like less than 3 hours total. I was on campus maybe 2.5 hours total, because they have like 4 different lunches, 5 different lunches just set up from lunch 1 all the way through. And so that's a big case, right? Because that's a huge high school. That's one of the biggest high schools in the state. So of course you get a lot of touches that way. And then also for this, you have to plan too to make sure that you have the coverage to be able to get all of those people called, because that was one mistake. I remember that was a few years ago. I was still a new manager. I didn't account for the amount of touches I had, and I remember like bringing back the receptionists, and they're like trying to handle like the calls and all the active and all the advertising that we have out, and I'm like, hey, by the way, here's 100 more touches that you need to call, right? So you have to plan for that a little bit, of course, to make sure you can handle that capacity. But at the same time too, even if you go to a small event, I'm always going to set a number that's like, even if it's a small school, I'm like, hey, I need to get at least 10 apps here today, right? I mean, I can get 10 apps. Even I've gone to little 1A high schools where they have like 1 lunch period, and the entire high school, 9th grade through 12th grade, is all in the lunchroom at one time, right? And we can still pull 10 apps from those people, right? So that's a minimum standard you want to be at whenever you're talking about doing these. Now then, I guess I've been talking about this table, these doing the events. So what does that actually mean? So there's a couple different things you're going to be able to do on high school campuses, and you probably you have to talk with your counselors to figure this out. Who are the people you talk to for these events? You're going to talk to, well, it depends. Each school is different. But the main events that I go in for, so I'm always going to take a campus folder with me, right? If I'm brand new to a territory, I've never been there before, I'm taking a campus folder, and in that campus folder, I'm going to have, you know, a little letter to the counseling staff. There's going to be a sample resume. There's going to be an All-American. There's going to be like a sample, kind of like the 17-year-old folder was like a sample contract, a QPR, my business card, and like a list of things that we've done at other schools, right? That's what I'm going to have, and I'm going to pre-make those packets, right? So that's one thing that you guys need to sit down and do, and I use just those blue 17-year-old folders to make up the packets. We're going to make a packet for every high school, so I'm going to sit down and make up 30 packets, 40 packets, whatever I need. If you're in your territories, figure out how many you need, and then so for me, I'm a merchant builder. My builder's pretty high. So if I have my stack so if I make all of them and I have my stack of campus packets, well then, the next thing I have to do is get all those campus packets out, right? And so talking to the schools, that's probably going to be something, and getting all my events set up, that's something that's going to take me somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 weeks at least. So this week, this year, we want to do 50 campus events between college tables and high school tables. That's what our office is doing, 50 campus events. To get those 50 campus events booked, I'm budgeting for my schedule 3 weeks, right? So the AMs are going to be more heavy doing some of their stuff, and I'm going to be out with the actual high schoolers, the high school principals, APs who have a refreshing stuff. And the cool thing is, since I've done it right the first time, it's pretty easy it's probably half those schools, it's just a matter of reconnecting and booking, right? But there's still some schools that, you know, counselors change, principals change, so you have to go and redo the thing. So then I guess that brings me to what's the thing, all right? So once we have these, once we have our packets set up, there's a couple things we're going to go and try and get. First thing first, I always want to get is a high school lunchroom table, right? I want to be set up in the lunchroom. I do a campus table at the lunch table. That's the first thing I want. I can get that generally in all cases. Some schools aren't going to allow that. There's one school district in particular in my territory, College Station ISD. One of the biggest schools. They just have an internal policy like no one can come on campus if outside of the military, right? They don't allow that. They don't allow campus resources to be used by for-profit organizations. That's just their rule. So it's not just me, it's anyone. Like the local camps or water park or they can't come in and recruit there either. No one can, any for-profits. So that's fine. So in a situation like that, what am I going to do? Well, generally you have to kind of talk to the administration. But if the high school principal or if they just won't let you on the table, well then you can generally go through a classroom as well. So whenever I'm approaching a brand new school, I'm going to do a little research first, figure out what clubs do they have. Do they have a DECA club? If they have a DECA club, I want in that DECA club, right? So in Pasadena, LaPorte in particular, they have like some really strong DECA programs down there. So so we have really good connections with DECA teachers. I'll go in and do a full classroom day as well. So I've sat with a DECA teacher all day long from 8 a.m. through 3 p.m. and I taught all of the classes for that day. Right? What did I teach? Whatever she wants, but it's generally some like resume experience, some do's and don'ts for job interviews, maybe even some college prep stuff. Once upon a time, before I had this job, I was also a recruiter for A&M and for the Corps Cadets, so I stood in lots of classrooms before this job, still talking to kids about why they should come to the greatest university in the nation and be part of an amazing institution. So anyway, so I've been doing that for a while. But anyway, so sometimes I might use a little bit of that for giving a classroom talk, and then tell them what we're doing in Vector, tell them what I do, tell them what we're looking for, and then pass the pen and paper around and get signups and touches right there in the class. So I've done that before with teachers. Now up in College Station and in that area, the DECA program isn't that strong. that's okay. So you're gonna have to kind of figure that out for your territory. But yeah, I've done the DECA teacher has invited me in before at a different school. She's invited me in to go and do sit and do her for finals. For finals, for 3 of her class sections, she has them do an actual interview, right? So I actually sat in her class and interviewed her students and gave them critiques and rankings, and then the ones that I liked took 10, 12 kids from her class and actually brought them in for full formal interviews with the company. They were sharp as shit kids out of her DECA program that competed at nationals and everything else. So that's like an exciting thing. So we're going to look and see, is there a program like that in the school? If there is, we want to be in front of them. Right? So however we can get in front of the students, that's good. There's also things, if we can make sure we have a campus table and we're working a DECA event at the same time, like the more times they see you, the better. For your bigger schools, if you're talking like a 6A, 5A high school, I'm probably going to hit one of those schools up at least 3 times. Right, so for a big 5A school, 6A school, something that has graduating 1,000+ kids, I'm gonna have at least 3 dates for one of those. Right, if we're talking like a 3A, 4A school, somewhere maybe they're graduating, I don't know, 300, 400, 500 kids. Cool, I'm probably gonna do 2 events there, and for a little school, under 200 graduation number, I'll probably do it go maybe once there. I suppose it's kind of depending. So it depends on how big your schools are. And when you go in, you're going to want to set those up with the counselor. The more people you have, the more staffing you can do, right? So this year, one thing that we have in our plans already, where we failed last year, is that we didn't have enough trained staffers to cover all of the events that we wanted. Because ideally, for this coming campaign to knock out those 50 campus events, that means we're going to have to be on multiple campuses on the same day, right? So we have different teams split up. I have different AM teams that are split up that are trained on how to do campus tables. They're going to go do those tables. So we'll be on 3 different campuses at the same time collecting those touches, right? I had a girl in just the other day that was like, yeah, I remember you guys came to the high school. She's like, I wasn't looking for a job back then, but I remembered Vector, so I wanted to come in now. Literally, that happened this last week.
I had a huge one, like from one of my top private schools, and she'd come in the next summer. She's like, oh my gosh, she's like, and I had to screen her at the table, like, she's so sharp, but she couldn't work.
Yeah, like that literally happened 3 days ago. This girl, she's like, oh, you guys came to high school. I remember you were like at the lunch table. And I was like, yeah. So it's always having a positive impression, right? Okay, so what is this campus table and what is this event? So your campus tables, when you move from a high school to a college, are a little bit different. Right? Not too much, but just a little bit. What's the main thing that I would notice from a high school lunch to a campus table at A&M or U of H or Blinn or wherever you're at? The biggest thing that I would say is different is the time that you're going to have with those kids. Right? Because if I'm set up in the MSC at A&M or I'm in a student center at a college and someone walks up, I can engage with them. I can really talk with them for a long time, and I can direct schedule them. I can get them all set up. Right? That's something that's going to be a little bit. It's different because you have a lot less time in a high school lunchroom, right? Because those kids are running around, they're doing a ton of things. A couple kids are going to come up, right? We have to have what we say to them really quick, really planned out. And dang it, I don't have my script. But moral of the story is when someone walks up, it kind of depends, like that personality matching, whether it's like a cool kid that walks up or if it's like a little timid kid or if it's it kind of depends how we're going to talk to them. But the same, like say anything, it's going to be similar to what we say. So I have a kid walk up, of course, you're always standing at the tables. Like, hey man, what's up? What's your name? Jim. Awesome. Cool, Jim. Jim. Who's named Jim? Anyway, lots of high schoolers named Jim nowadays. What's Jim short for? Is that James? Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, so all right, so dang it. I'm thinking about names. Okay, this happens more in my life than it should. Okay, come on, Cody, we got this. All right, so I'll be at the table, and we'll have someone walk in and be like, hey, what's your name? Be like, oh, Matt. Hey, Matt, my name's Cody. Good to meet you. Hey, are you like a sophomore, junior, senior? Where are you at? He's like, I'm a junior. Oh, that's cool, man. So are you 17, 18? Be like, oh, I'm still 16. Like, oh, dude, sucks. Can't work with you. Actually, I need people who are 17 or older. But hey, here's a card. If you know some buddies that are older, send them over to the table. I'd really appreciate it. We're looking for some people. Somebody like, oh, okay, cool. And like he keeps walking, right? So that's one thing. And the other one come up, hey, it's like, hey man, what's your name? It's Tim. Like, hey Tim, how's it going, man? I'm Cody Rose with and then I'll just ask the same question. So tell me, man, are you like a sophomore, junior? So he's like, oh, I'm a senior. Like, tell you, man. So when's graduation? He's like, it's in like 4 weeks. Like, yeah, it's exciting, huh? He's like, yeah, kind of. So what are your plans for the fall? He's like, oh, I'm gonna go to school at wherever. Like, awesome. Well, hey, man, we're actually just here today. I'm good friends with the principal. I'm good friends with your principal, Mr. So-and-so, or you're good friends with your counselor, Miss whoever. And I actually just came to campus because I was telling her, like, hey, I actually run a business here in College Station. We need some extra people for the summer. And I was telling her about that. She said, hey, you should come in and check out and see if some of the students want to. So that's why I'm here today. Actually, here's some information about the position. I hand them a clipboard, a little bit of stuff on the top, and then names and numbers. So I can hand them, like, hey, put your name and number down. Read over this at the top. If you sound like something interesting, put your name and number down. But I don't know, were you maybe looking for some work for the summer? And he's like, and so the first thing I do, get that clipboard in their hand right away. Right? Clipboard, pen, clipboard in hand with the pen or pencil. So they're writing, and I'm just talking like, so awesome, man. So what did I say? Oh, you looking for some work? Yeah, maybe. Like, oh, that's cool, man. And so you said you were going to A&M. What do you think? What are you gonna look in at majoring in? He's like, oh, I want to do industrial engineering. Dude, engineering, that's so cool. Like, lots of our guys, we have lots of students that work with us, and like 5 of my guys on my team are actually engineers at A&M too. That's pretty cool stuff. Gonna be excited. Just some simple rapport while he's filling it out, right? And then after he fills it out, he'll give it back to me. I'm like, awesome, man. Well, hey, what time do you get out of school today, by the way? He'll be like, we are like 2. All right, awesome. Well, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this to one of my assistants, and they're going to give you a call this afternoon. We're going to give you some more information on the position. I want you to take one of these 2, but we are interviewing, and we're trying to get all our interviewing done here in the next, like this week and next week for these positions. So we're going to get you a call, give you some more information about the position, talk to you a little bit about it, and if things sound good, we'll get you set up for an interview. Maybe you can come into the office, and I'll see you in a day or 2. If I'm not around, so one of the assistants will interview you. But it was really good meeting you today. Cool? Awesome. Hey, by the way, bro, do you know anyone else in the cafeteria right now? Like, where's some other seniors at? Like, oh, there's some right there. Cool. Hey, do you think any of them might be looking for work too? Like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Okay, well, let's go talk to them real quick, right? And so then I walk with that kid to the high school, like to the lunch table where those other guys are sitting, and I'm like, hey, just introduce me. So I'm like, hey guys, this is Cody. I was talking. I'm like, hey guys, what's up? I was just talking with him, telling him I'm actually friends with your counselor, Miss Karen, and I was telling her that we need some extra people this summer for where we work at. It's a pretty fun job, customer sales and service. We're looking for a few extra people. But hey, here's some cards real quick, and then also I know Kevin was saying that he might be looking for some. So here's a pen and some papers. Gonna pass this around. If anyone might be thinking they might kind of need a job this summer or not even sure, why don't you put your name down? I'll go ahead and be in touch. Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to grab a few more names and numbers that way, pass out some cards that way, and then I don't know, go back and do it again. Usually, if I can have 2 or 3 people at a table, I'm going to be good. I'd like ideally to have at least 2 people when I go and work tables. But I've done them by myself before too, right? But the power of having 2 or 3 people is that you can have the 2 or 3 people still taking apps at the table while you're out in the actual cafeteria sitting down at the tables with the kids, talking with them, and getting them names and numbers and passing out some cards as well, right? Because that's one thing. Sometimes they're going to come up. And what I found is with the high schooler kids, if you're there multiple days, on the second day or third day, you're going to get more traffic than the first day generally because kids are just skittish, right? I don't know, like raccoons or deer or something, I don't know. The more they see you there, right, the more they're going to be more apt to walk up and say, hey, what is this? Check this out, whatever. Hey, one of my buddies came by yesterday. Like, okay, cool. We'll talk. So I ideally want to have that situation, but if we're only there for 1 day, 2, and like I see the table with the freaking cool kids over there, and they're like tearing, like they're not looking, they're not coming over, but I want them, right? I'm going to go sit down at the table with them and be like, hey, what's up, guys? What's up? You guys seniors? Yeah. I just like talk with them and be like, hey, what do y'all play? Well, my name's Cody, by the way. I'm friends with your counselor, Miss Karen. I run an office over in College Station. We're here because we need some extra people today. But I don't know what's. So y'all are all seniors, you said? That's like you play baseball. How's the season going? Right. I'll just like talk to them and then get some more. Do the exact same thing. Generate some interest. Get some names and numbers for the kids that didn't come up to my table because I still see them and I'm like, dang, I want that kid. And so when you're brand new, that's going to be nerve-wracking, right? It's something that when I was new, I was like, this is kind of weird, this is whatever, right? But it's just like anything else. Once you do it the first couple times, you have no problem doing it. Sit down, chit-chat with kids, and get names and numbers. Because, like, remember, like, you're not in high school anymore, right? You're like, you run your own business. You're 20 something. You're cool. It's okay. You can go sit down with the cool kids and chit chat with them. I promise it'll be just fine, right? So that's one way that we're gonna because I felt like when I was new with that and sitting down at the tables, that's something that kind of developed because I wasn't always getting the traffic I wanted to my table. But just having the table there regardless is going to be a really important thing. Okay, next thing then, Cody, well, how do I get that table set? I think this kind of wraps it up. Yeah, that comes to the wrap up. The next thing is, well, how do I actually get this thing set up? Well, you dress nice, you go in. Don't dress like super salesy or super, well, what does super salesy dressing mean? Never mind, we're not going to go down that path. Just dress nice. Go in and be like, hey, my name's Cody Rose. I'm actually a local business owner here in College Station. We have some we need some extra help for the summer. We work with Cutco, so we need some extra sales folks for the summer. So we have some positions for some of the graduating seniors. We were looking at maybe wanting to set up something in the cafeteria or just getting some information out to the students. Who'd be the best person to talk to about that? Just ask the front secretary. She's like, it's probably the counselor so-and-so. Right? Cool, is she in? So yeah, she might be busy. It's like, that's okay, I can wait. Right? I think just sit down and wait. Right? I don't know. PDI people take a book, whatever. I don't mind sitting. I like sitting. Right? So I'll go sit down and just wait for the right person and then go chit chat with them. Now here's the deal. Sometimes it's going to be the head counselor that decides that. Sometimes it's going to be the principal secretary. Sometimes it's going to be the principal himself. Sometimes you have to go up to the superintendent's office and get approval from like their director of communications to be able to be on the school. Then once you have his approval, you have to go back to the high school again and be like, hey, he said it's okay, right? So you have to, you kind of have to find your way around too, like who's going to be the best person to talk to about this. If someone just shuts you down and says, no, we're not going to, sorry, can't do that. Like, okay, no, I definitely understand. Hey, who are some teachers that like teach the business courses? Cool, what's her name? Awesome. You know if she's teaching a class right now? I'm going to just go chit chat with her, right? Because if they don't let me do a table, because it's against a policy or something, the teachers are allowed to bring you into their classrooms in most cases. In all cases that I've ever run into. Like a teacher can invite you in for a guest speaker, and that's no big deal. So then you need to go and chit-chat and figure out who's your DECA teacher, your business teacher, or since I had an ag background, I go in and chit-chat with ag teachers and talk in front of ag classes, right? Because I had a big ag background. I also have a band background, so I'll like go into, so there's some bands in particular that we know the directors or my director's been around for a long time, so I'll go chit-chat with those people and talk to band directors. Right? Like do a quick, like go in the morning and do like a quick little 10-minute spiel, like, hey, this is who I am, this is what we're doing. I want to pass some stuff around. Any seniors, anyone who's looking for some part-time work, just, you know, we need some people this summer, and just get in front of folks. So we'll be at the cafeteria today if you want to come stop by at lunch. And then I've done that before. I've had a director actually get all of her high school seniors, all of the seniors in the band. She just pulled them all out and had me talk to the group of like 30 of them before. Right, and so that's where I found 2 10K fast starters from that. Right, well, one of them actually came in from that, and then one of the buddies, PR from that, came in and did another 10. Right, just from that like little roundup group she did with her seniors. So your high school students are there. It's just another form of recruiting that you need to go out and do. Now, so I'll also say this. Whenever you're doing this process of getting these high schools booked, it's important to realize that it may almost seem like they're trying to, like, from you looking at it, you have to look at it through their eyes. That's an important thing. Because if you're looking at it through your eyes and be like, hey, I need to do this, and like they're sending me like 8 different people giving me a runaround, like I just need to get this book, like I get it, right? But look at it through their eyes. This isn't a common situation, right? Colleges are set up for this. They have a career center. They have the lady that's in charge of booking all the events and tables they're set up for that. High schools, it's not a very common thing, with the exception of, you know, the Air Force or Army Navy guy that comes through. They're not generally set up, and people don't usually go and be like, hey, we have jobs for your students, right? So you have to kind of put that in their mindset that they don't get that very often. So you have to be patient and explain and breathe and be like, yeah, give them hints, Like, yeah, sometimes I'll just talk with the AP or the principal, or who would be the best person to, give them some hints of who you want to talk to, right? At some schools, literally, there's like APs like they do it by grades, they do it by sections. There's certain assistant principals that are in charge of things. Could be counselors, a lead counselor, a class advisor, literally the principal secretary. One time, for out in Baytown, there's 3 schools out there. 2 of the schools were no problem. The third school was like, you have to go to the superintendent's office and get district approval for something like this. Like, just a really, biting front secretary, we'll put it that way. And those secretaries are really great, but if you can become friends with them, they're going to take care of anything you need. So that's another thing I would say, is always make friends with the secretaries, because she's guarding that principal. That's her job. She guards her principal all day long from all the crap. Right? And so you make friends with her. Dude, Miss Mary at LaPorte, I could go down there right now. She would do anything, right, for me at LaPorte. And then also Miss, oh, dang it, what's her name? She's super cool. Her granddaughter went to A&M. She's in Pasadena. And she's, anyway, older lady. But anyway, she's Karen? Kathy? Miss Kathy? Kathy, anyway. So Miss Kathy's an older lady, and so she set me up. She was like, here, I'll help. Like, I made good friends with her, did the Aggie thing, chit-chatter. She got what we were doing. She's like, hey. I was like, I need to get the other high schools too. She's like, here, let me help you. All right, so she just like sat down, like she called the 4 other Pasadena high school secretaries, said, hey, it's Cody. I have this guy over here. He needs to set up a date at the school. He's going to come over to the table, right? So literally, because I made friends with her, she got the other 4 principal secretaries on the phone and booked me tables at all of them while I was sitting with her, because I made friends with the principal secretary. Right? I never talked to the principal. Oh, they invited me. She's like, oh, we're having a cookout. You should come, like, for Teacher Appreciation Day. So like, I was there at Teacher Appreciation Day, and it was like sitting, like, eating, like, they made like hamburgers and stuff for them outside. We're hanging out with all the teachers. I just went and hung out with them, and she was like, here, I'll introduce the principal, Mr. Sandoval. She brings over this guy. He's like, oh, yeah. Well. So I felt like I met the principal at some random event down the road. Never even talked to him. Right? But in those situations, the principal knows that whatever he trusts her, right? That's like her go-to, just like Kathy and Mary Lou, right? Same thing. Like, Kathy trusts what she's saying. Whatever she says, good to go. Exact same situation, except in a school district, right? So that's someone that you probably want to try and make friends with if you can, but you're going to figure that out. Different schools are different. You just have to go in and sit and talk, have your packet while you're doing it, and chit-chat. What do I say? There's a whole script for that as well, but when you sit down with a high school counselor, principal, whoever, like, so what is this? So super simple. Just breathe. You're talking to an adult. It's okay. You're an adult too. All right? So like, yeah, well, my name's Cody Rose. I'm actually a graduate at Texas A&M here in the class 2010, but I'm a district manager for Vector Marketing, and so I don't know if you're familiar with Vector, but we do sales for the Cutco product line. So it's a lot of like kitchen stuff. Usually they've heard about it even. Like, it's like lots of kitchen stuff, cookware, pots and pans, honey fish knives, kitchen knives, stuff like that. So we do direct sales. And we need some extra salespeople for the summer, so we're expanding our team right now, and so we're looking for some extra salespeople. So generally, the people need to be graduates. So pretty much be for like the upcoming graduates, the seniors. How many of y'all graduating, by the way, sir? 257. All right, perfect. So it'd probably be for a few of those guys. It's not going to be for everyone. Not everyone's into sales, but generally, if we can just chit-chat with the students and kind of let them know what's going on, we might find 2, 3, 4 people that might like it, might be good at it. And we've had some people earn some good cash because we offer a scholarship program as well, sir. And then we also have some pretty good earnings if they do get the sales, of course. But I think it's just a good thing for the kids to get experience. And here's a packet with some information. I'm actually, so after you get your first school, you get your first school. First school is important. And then you just name drop, because all the schools know each other. And we're actually, so what I'm actually doing over at Bryan High, I'm going to be there, and I'll pull out my calendar. I'm going to be at Bryan High on the 13th, 14th, and 17th. And what we're just doing there is we do a campus event with a table with them. We'll just set up in the lunchroom, set up a little tablecloth. Kids can come up and get information if they want. And generally, they'll do like an announcement beforehand as well, and just let them know that, hey, representatives from Vector are going to be here if someone's looking for summer work. So as usual, what we do, there's a couple different things we can do as well. If you have like a DECA teacher or business teacher, I've done classroom events and classroom days with people before as well, so we can do that too. But those are kind of some of the ideas we've had. I don't know, what do you think would work best excuse me, what do you think would work best on this campus, sir? Right? Let him give you some ideas. Like, yeah, I like that. Dude, could we do that also? Cool. Right? So we'll chit chat, and it's basically on a script somewhere, and if not, you just kind of talk. And I usually give him the packet, and so that way I don't like word vomit. Keep it short and sweet. This is what I want. This is who I am. This is what I want. Right? I'm not going to go into like, yeah, we're independent contractors, and they do this, so they get paid. There's commissions plus base pay. They're offered a no. I'm giving that. That's all the information's in the packet if he wants it. Right? Now, if he asks me questions, like, yeah, it's actually in there, but also this is what we do. Right? Sometimes I'll get the counselor, and she'll be like, okay, this looks good. I have to run it by my principal. I'm thinking, what was his name? All right, cool. Well, hey, I'll definitely do that. And then if I can feel like I'm getting kind of brushed off, or I'm like, hey, I'll talk to the principal. Yeah, for sure. And I'll just like, hey, actually, I'll be probably back in the area in the next couple of days. So I might just swing by and just kind of check in with you or chit chat with him as well. Sound good? Awesome. Hey, thank you so much, and I'll leave. So I just told her that I'm coming back and I'm going to go talk to the principal, right? But I didn't make it a big deal. I just made it very nonchalant on my own. Hey, I'll just come swing back by, check in. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Have a great day, right? And then I'm going to come back in again and say, the heck with that lady. I'm going to go find the principal. Like, yeah, I was actually talking with the counselor, one of your counselors, Miss Smith, the other day. And I don't know if did she tell you that I was going to swing by? Okay, cool. Well, boom, there we go. And just talk to him about it. Like, yeah, I was actually with Miss Smith the other day. She said that I might need to talk to someone in this office. All right.
So do you do that after you realize that she didn't say anything, or do you talk to her first and then go look for the principal?
I always talk to I talk to whoever they tell me to talk to first.
Okay.
And then if I realize that this is the wrong person, and I know that they're the wrong person before they know that they're the wrong person, well, then I just take that to my own hands and figure out who my right person is.
Which is the principal.
In this case.
Generally, in that example, yes.
Yeah.
It's usually the counselor, from what I've found.
It depends. It depends.
The
The thing with my counselors I've noticed is that there's a couple counselors in schools that the way their principals run it, the counselor can do it and say okay. But what the counselor will do sometimes, I've noticed this a lot actually, the counselor will give me, I have to talk to my husband. Right? That's what it is. She's telling me I have to talk with my husband, right? Oh, okay, I have to talk with the principal, right? But realize this, your counselors at this time of year in particular, they have testing going on, they have 80 freaking things on their to-do list, and you're at the bottom, right? So if I can take that responsibility from her and just go do it for her, I'll do that. Because you're dealing with testing this time of year, and that's the main thing the counselors are stressed the frick out about. So she may never tell him about you because she'll just forget. So you have to be ready to go back and find the right person and set it up and be good to go.
At that point, you just go straight to the principal.
Or AP or whoever. I mean, it depends, right? But the principal also, man, it's so different on each school. It's so hard. Like
Okay.
But you'll go to someone else, right? And you'll do it nice and polite. You may even leave that day, or you might just be walking down the hall and see the principal's office and just kind of dip in there real quick. All right. But always check in when you go. Always check in first. Always get your name badge. It says visitor, so they know you're there legit and you're not there to, I don't know, abduct children. But I mean, I guess you could. But a good abductor would probably get their name band first, or name badge. Oh no, damn it, never mind. That'd be the highs and lows, I think, of this campus program and really knocking out your high schools. The big thing I would do for where you guys are at right now is I would say, okay, look at your calendar, look at your territory, look at your good schools, right? How many high schools how many events do you want to do? Know when you're doing them. Know the dates you're available to do them. That's the first thing. Then make your packets. Then go sit with your counselors, APs, principals, district officials, whoever it is, and then you get them booked. So same thing as phone time. You have to know when you want your demos before because also when I was brand new, I made that mistake. I showed up and the person was like, wait, when do you want to do them? And I was like, and she was like, well, why don't you figure that out and then call us back, right? Like it was so embarrassing, right? So know when you want to do them and give her options and let's be like, okay, yeah, that works for us. right? And if you're a branch, let them know too, like, hey, just I'm a branch, I'm in school doing this internship, whatever. And we'll probably want to do this again next summer, but it most likely won't be me. But let me get your card, and I'll make sure that I know whoever's coming around next year. I'll make sure to put them in touch as well, just so it most likely won't be. But even if it isn't me, here's my contact info as well, so you can just give me a call even next year or something if the person hasn't come around yet, but you still want us, you still want to do a table with the kids, just call me and I'll help figure it out.
You said grab their information, or you give them
Both.
theirs? Okay.
Well, they're always going to give you a card, and if not, just take one off their desk.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then that's what I would say. If personally, if I was a branch in the majority of you guys' situations, if it depends on when my finals are over, but I'm going to try to get at least 5 to 10 of those tables done.
Also, when you go visit high schools, if this is your first time doing it, where you're like, I have so much experience, go
Start with
to
the
your
practice.
lowest high school. Maybe not like a C or a D school, but like maybe a B.
Yeah, those are your best options.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna fuck it up the first time you do it. So get the practice before role play is like a demo, and then go.
Friends and family.
Those are your best ones.
That's a great idea. I love that. And then also, and then usually my first thing is get the table set up, and then after she's like, oh hey, by the way, I forgot. We usually do these things where we'll make just letter sheets that we'll give to all the seniors. I'm gonna drop some of those by. Can you give those would it be good to just give those to the senior homeroom teachers and they can pass them all out for us? Cool, perfect. I forgot about that. My bad. All right, and so just secondarily, I'll get the actual little congratulations, senior, blah 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 blah, like the sheets. I'll get those in their hands, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll bring. So the day I come to the campus table, I'll just bring those with me. Cool. All right, awesome. And then the day I'm there, part of my responsibility before I leave, when I'm doing my actual table, is I'll just ask them hey, these are for the high school seniors. Would it be best give them out to their homeroom teachers, or how does that usually work? Hey, I can just drop these off for the homeroom teachers, no problem. Or I can put them in the mailboxes. It's no big deal, right? So just be super helpful. Yeah, I can do it. Nah, you're busy. Who is it? Okay, I'll take care of it for you. No big deal. All right. If they don't have an aide or someone there, and then I'll literally make sure that it gets to the people that it needs to get to. Because I try to, in those situations, mitigate risk. I always try to mitigate risk, I suppose. And one of those things the fewer people that are between me and what I need, the better the chances are that it's going to happen in this situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So if I could literally give them to all the kids, I do that. But if I can literally hand them over to the homeroom teacher, tight. That's what I'm going to do. Or if they don't let me do that, I'm gonna put it in their mailbox, tight, right? And if I can't, well, then I'm gonna explain it to the aide that's sitting there what needs to happen with these papers. Someone needs to know, right? And if you just drop them off, chance of getting them there, not that good. Also, you can sponsor a project grad. You can do other things as well, but that's kind of it depends. For a better high school or a good high school, you can maybe for your top high schools. Ask them if they're doing a project grad, talk to the teachers, talk to whoever. If you sponsor something or give them some money or give them something, right, you can show up to their project grad and actually just be there with all the graduating seniors the night they graduate and give them stuff. Cool. That's awesome. All depends. It can be creative. So that's what I usually do. There's other things you can do. There's other things there's other stuff, but that's one thing that we've done for a while. It's been pretty successful. And that's how we would do a high school campus table. There's tons of stuff on, regular college campus tables on the internet, on the Vector Connect, wherever too. And Amanda's amazing at it as well. But that's kind of what we've done over the years to help capitalize on this high school thing. Because if you do it right, you'll have an extra 10 to 15 sales reps on your team before mailers even hit. Right? That's cool. And for some of the numbers we were putting together for the branches the other day, shit, and you need 50 recruits to hit your goal? Cool. You already have 15 of them from campus, and that's not 10 of them from campus, a fifth of them. You haven't even called their PR lists yet. Your mailers haven't even hit yet, right? And that's because you went to the campuses and talked to some kids and got some good ones. Cool.
Agreed.
Alrighty. Andreas, you're raising your hand.
Oh, I was saying, I remember from last summer, we might get that document later on. We had a list whenever we went to the table, the script, of every single activity that we could do on campus. Because of course the tables that hold the home major, you want to do it, but realistically you're not gonna get to the table everywhere. But that doesn't mean that you're not gonna be involved in the school at all. So for some of the schools that I couldn't do a table because of X, Y, Z, I would just literally just drop down and keep asking for approval for different things. So like I didn't do a table, but all seniors in graduation, they got like a sample resume or a position description and then all the information about the company, all different kind of things that you can do besides the table. But of course you want to get the table.
And then everything can generate your touches. But then realize too that you may not get them at that event, but because they saw you on campus, when they get the mailer or when they get the PR call, then they're coming in because you've already made 2, 3, 4, 5 impressions.
Exactly.
Marketing,
That's
huh?
not work with me.
How do you figure out if the school has DECA, which schools have DECA, and how do you find the right team?
Their website.
Also,
Their website's gonna tell you.
if you call Ryan Long, she'll send you all that information.
Right?
And then or
Is
whoever.
that information for all townships?
She has an email and all the current teachers and phone numbers of all of them in the state of Texas.
There you go. That's easier. I just go on the website and it'll tell if it says if they do have one or they don't. And if their website is so like I don't know ratchety that like they don't have.
I actually have sorry.
Oh, just do that just for you or for everybody?
I have all of the city. Well, it's a year old, year and a half old, so a newer, updated one. Teachers move around, some teachers are no longer DECA. They still work at school, there's not DECA anymore. So
Oh no, that's fine. So I had checked you check the website, but that's even quicker.